Welcome, everyone. The week of October 14th, we're going to be working with a lovely vibration. We're working with the 42-6. So because we're at the core of this vibration is the 6, this is the vibration of love, truth, and honesty. So those are going to be the themes that we're going to be seeing come up this week. And really, where the focus is going to lie is where is it within our lives that we are not in those vibrations of love, truth, and honesty. So this could present a myriad of ways. In tarot, this would be represented by the Two of Cups. So there's potentially a lot of healing energy that can come through this week. So you could see, because remember 42, so we have the vibration of the 2 and also the vibration of the 6, which brings in that love, truth, and honesty. 2 energy is about coming together, balance, harmony, peace, seeing eye to eye, mending what needs to be mended so that we can build a bridge type of energy. So there really is this sort of very strong relational energy coming up this week. And so truly, wherever it is within our relationships, and it's the art of relating to another person, as well as our deeper core relationships, because we have both energies, the 2 and the 6. So relationships as a whole are really sort of in the spotlight this week. And so going back to what I was saying, in tarot, this energy would be represented by the 2 of Cups. And so again, this is very much going to be about seeing eye to eye with another person or other people, finding harmony and balance within our deeper connections, or even in our connections, like who you meet on the street, the customer service person that you're dealing with, how are we relating to that person? How are we connecting? At the core of this vibration really pushes us to, again, find greater peace and harmony within our relationships, our human relationships, right? Or even beyond that, our connectivity with, each other and all living beings. So this is a big energy, and it really is that sort of very woo, very loving type of vibration that says, why can't we all just get along? Why can't we see eye to eye? Why can't we find common ground? Why can't we, celebrate our similarities, but also celebrate our differences? Why can't we why can't we compromise, not sacrifice, compromise? Why can't we, move from a space with every single person we meet, whether we agree or disagree? Why can't we move from a place of love and cooperation and truly seeking to find deeper understanding from individuals who maybe, there's misunderstanding. Maybe we don't see eye to eye. Maybe we do disagree. But the 42-6 says there's really no need to debate. Let's have a conversation so that we can find a deeper understanding from where, the other person is coming from, and then seek to find some kind of common ground, some way of meeting in the middle, whatever that means for us, right? For the individual. And I think we all know that it's very easy to find understanding and connect with individuals who hold similar values, similar belief systems, and see the world in a similar way that we do. But the 42-6 says, where is it that we can try a little bit harder, do a little bit more, show up in a more harmonious way when it comes to those relationships or those connections where it is difficult to find common ground, where it is difficult to see eye to eye, where we do see things very, very differently. That's where this energy really, pushes us to shine, because that's where the work lies, right? So this week, we're really being pushed to, again, move from a place of love and cooperation to get to greater understanding, as opposed to moving from a place of separation, division, anything that kind of tears us apart, any kind of divide. So there's really this push to work harder or work, the best that we can to find understanding through those misunderstandings, right? So where there are misunderstandings, to work towards finding understanding. And again, remember, we don't always have to buy into what the other person believes or what they're selling or what they want us to believe. We simply just have to find a way to understand where they're coming from, their point of view, and have respect for that, right? And find some kind of greater understanding for that so that we can find some kind of greater balance, peace, and harmony. That's really what this vibration is saying. And what's really beautiful about the 42-6, well, the 6 in general, is when this vibration comes to light, it really does bubble to the surface wherever it is that there isn't the vibration of truth, love, or honesty. And when we talk about honesty, we're not talking about, telling somebody what you did last night and being truthful about it, right? It's not necessarily what we're talking about. When we're talking about honesty, what we're talking about is being very honest with yourself about what you need, how you feel, your desires, the direction you want to be moving towards, and then being very honest with the other person, right? We don't have any control over how they receive that honesty, but we have a responsibility to, express that honesty, so that the other person doesn't have to try to guess how we feel, what we're moving towards. And it's not about trying to influence the other person to believe the same things that we believe or to want the same things that we want. That's control and manipulation. It's truly about standing up for ourselves and expressing ourselves so that the other person can understand the direction we want to be moving towards, how we feel, etc., as opposed to wanting the other person to mind read. And then also holding space for the other person to be able to present and express that same honesty with us, right? So much, I read something the other day and it was like, I can't even remember what it was, but it was something along the lines of, somebody wasn't truthful or if you want people to trust you, be truthful or be honest or blah, 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 whatever, right? And it's interesting because we're so quick to point the finger and say, well, this person lied to me. This person was, didn't tell the truth or whatever. But in that, and there's a greater conversation to be had there, of course. However, the question also remains for us to ask ourselves, did we create an environment where that person felt safe and comfortable to be able to express their truth and their honesty with us? Or were they afraid that we were going to get combative or, defensive or, create all this drama because we don't like the honesty that we're hearing? And so it really is this sort of two-way street, right? It's our responsibility to be honest with others, to let others know how we feel and what we need and etc. And to really stand up for ourselves and look out for ourselves in that way. But it's also our responsibility to make sure, if we want to have healthy connections, to make sure that we are creating a space and an environment for others to be honest with us, right? And to accept that honesty, even if it's what we don't want to hear, even if it goes against our values or our belief systems or whatever. And the 6 is really beautiful about helping us to do that. Now, again, the energy can be present as what we choose to do with it that makes the difference, but it really has us sort of look at these type of situations within our connections. It's so easy to be like, well, this person lied to me and get upset about that and create drama around that and, create a big story about it and go on social media and complain about it and blah, 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 and shame the other person or blame the other person. But, there is some validity in that, yes, that's a deeper conversation or a bigger conversation to be had. The question is also, did we look at ourselves and say, did I create a space where no matter what the other person told me or said to me in their honesty and in their truth, I was okay with that. I held space for that. I was able to receive that without becoming defensive and, needing to debate or needing to influence the other person or change the other person or et cetera, et cetera. So this energy, like I said, is really beautiful about bubbling things to the surface that we need to address, that maybe we've been pushing under the carpet so that we don't have to address it. But it really pushes us to have those deeper, more important conversations. And it's not just with romantic relationships. It's, across the board with how we treat others, truly how we treat others, and especially how we treat others when it's not easy to show up in our, highest potential or our greatest light, meaning that what the other person does or says is something we don't agree with, something we don't believe, something, et cetera, et cetera. So it sounds really lovey-dovey kind of energy to work with, but it can really be a little bit brutal in that it's pushing us to, hold the mirror up to ourselves and see, where is it that I am truly not showing up in this vibration of truth, love, and honesty? And again, that doesn't mean what we have sort of dictated it to mean. It really does truly mean, being able to find common ground, even when it's difficult, to be able to, again, hold space for another person's honesty while also being truthful and honest about, again, our own needs and our own desires and speaking up for ourselves. So there's a lot that comes in this week. And again, in tarot, this would be represented by the Two of Cups. So, which, in traditional tarot, it's two individuals coming together. And you've got like the medicine, the snake or whatever, for the healing. So there's some kind of healing, seeing eye to eye, some kind of greater choice that can bring us back to balance, greater harmony. And, we need this on a collective level as well as individually, a greater coming together and a greater, not even agreeing with the other person, but having respect for the other person and allowing the other person to be who they need to be on their own personal journey without the need to manipulate, control, judge, etc. So really beautiful energy. Again, it sounds super lovey-dovey and very woo, but it's actually very difficult energy to step into. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's interesting because I always kind of use the example of when we're talking about 6 energy of like an elephant being in the room, and that elephant will not leave until those bigger conversations, those deeper conversations have been had. And the purpose of that, again, is to get to the truth, get to the honesty, get to the love of that situation, of that dynamic. And the 42-6 really is that elephant. And it comes into the room and it refuses to leave until we have those conversations, until we do the work that we need to do in order to heal or move on from situations or relationships that are really holding us back because of the role that we play in that as well, right? So at the core of this energy, it really is about healing, but it's also about, sometimes when we heal a relationship, if we can't do it in the physical for whatever reason, this is such a beautiful opportunity also to do it energetically. Find a way to sort of release that energy that is holding you back from moving forward. If there was a situation that occurred with someone, right? Instead of holding that blame, find a way to release it, to, you can work towards forgiveness and all of that, but truly carrying that energy with you is only hurting you. I heard this thing and I wish I could remember who said it now, but it was, a lot of times holding a grudge or holding that negative energy is like if you were bit by a snake and you, instead of trying to, get that venom out of you, and instead of trying to heal yourself, you chase down that snake to find out why they bit you, right? To try to understand why they hurt you, why they bit you, etc. Right? And really holding a grudge against that snake for biting you, instead of getting, seeking the help that you need to be able to remove the venom. And it's so interesting, right? Because it's true. We do that with relationships all of the time where, if something goes south, or if someone does something that we disagree with or that hurt us or whatever, we want an explanation. We want to understand why. We want it to be justified or to be whatever. And sometimes we're not always going to get that answer. Sometimes we're not always going to get that apology to be able to move forward. And the 42-6 says, what do you have to do to be able to get yourself to a place where you are in this vibration of truth, love, and honesty, right? And it's not about being holier than thou. It's not about having to prove anything to anyone. It's none of that. It is truly getting yourself to a place where you feel internally good about how you show up to connections, how you handle those situations that don't always go as planned or like you would maybe want them to go. And finding ways to heal that first for yourself, and then within the connections that you have throughout your day, or the deeper connections, how are you showing up to those connections? And is it moving from a place of love and understanding and cooperation? Or is it moving from a place of needing to debate, needing to be right? If someone has a different viewpoint or a different perspective or a different belief system, do we penalize or judge them, or et cetera, right? So this energy, again, it's not so much saying, this is the time to blame others or et cetera. This is saying this is a time to look at yourself or ourselves and see where is it that we can show up better, we can do better, we can step more into this vibration of love, truth, and honesty. At the core of this, it's seeking peace and harmony through understanding. That's really at the core of this. And in order to do that, there either needs to be greater conversation, greater communication, greater coming together. And again, not always agreeing or changing your belief systems or your opinions or whatever, but having space for the other person to have their opinions and their belief systems, and the two of you coming together to find that common ground, right? And if the other person is not willing to do that, that's where I say energetically, we can still do the work. Like we can still find, peace within that situation through our own internal healing and our own internal work. And really the 42-6 says, if you can't connect with that person on a deeper level because for whatever reason, then, our job is to find out how to do that energetically so that we can get to a place where we feel good and we're able to move forward in a healthy, sustainable way. Now, aside from all of that, the other thing that's really beautiful about this energy is, again, at the core, it is a love vibration. So it is possible that for some of us, we'll either, meet someone new, right? And it can be a friend, it can be a long lost family member, it can be adopting a pet, it could be a romantic relationship where someone comes into our lives that is that deeper love connection, that really core, like soul connection, under this vibration. So pay attention to who you meet this week, because it might be someone that has a tremendous impact on your life moving forward in a way that you might not have expected them to. And it's also interesting too, because you could heal connections from the past and they could take on a whole nother storyline in your story, right? So anything is possible under this vibration, especially as it pertains to connection, coming together, unity, again, mending and healing relationships and seeing eye to eye. Because remember, if someone resurfaces at this time in your life, hear what they have to say, because it's very possible that you and they are both in different situations than you were before. Like you've evolved, you've grown, right? You might see things differently. You might have that space now to be able to receive the person differently. And again, it could take on a whole different meaning in your life, that relationship. So don't continue, or try not to continue to see people, as they were before. See them for who they are now, and really truly seek to understand who they are now, what they have to say, etc. And be open and communicative about your own needs, and be honest about what you need so that the other person doesn't have to try to guess, right? For other people, this could be a time where if you have existing relationships that are important to you, those could be strengthened at this time, and they could really be taken to a whole nother level as well. At the core of this, it is a love vibration, and it really does seek to get us to a place of greater understanding with one another, and greater peace and harmony and unity, all of the things. But that doesn't happen just by snapping your fingers. That happens through the work of trying to understand one another, and understanding does not come through debate. Understanding comes through communication, open dialogue, and having space for the other person to be honest with us, even when it goes against what we want or what we believe or our value systems. So really tough energy to work with, only because It goes against how we've been conditioned to view relationships and view, our place in the world. But it's truly beautiful, and it's trying to get us to a place of greater understanding, greater love, greater peace and harmony, unity and balance. So, what's not to love about this energy? So I hope it's a great week. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.